out there, everyone. It's your long-lost best friends. I'm here, and I'm Stew, and I'm joined by my buddy Bakari.
And I'm Bakari.
And you've probably been wondering where your favorite podcast, Battle School Dropouts, has been.
They've been asking nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop. God, all of our dear close friends who we know are avid listeners were asking us, when's the podcast coming back? Well, here we are.
And here it is.
Here it is.
We ostensibly died. We fell off the cliff in the last season, and here we are back. We did some push-ups down there, and we're even stronger, and we're going to help you take down the bad guy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've returned like in Fist of the North Star. We were covered in stone. We beat up some big mutant men. We saved a little girl who makes a really high-pitched noise when she's using like a psychic power or something.
That's right, yeah.
She's got little seeds. And yeah, we're here. We're here to bring you important news.
Important news. That's what we do here.
Well, no, we are here to bring important news.
Oh, that's true.
Because managing one podcast is trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided we're going to start a new one. So we've got a whole plan for this episode here. We are going to be talking about the first 6 episodes of
Hinomaru Sumo.
Hinomaru Sumo. Thank you. I've been calling this the sumo anime for so long that my brain just blanked right there.
It is like, that is an apt description. I think it is the sumo anime. I don't think there's a second one.
But yeah, so we did the sumo anime because if you've been listening, we've both become big sumo fans in recent months. And so we've decided we're going to do a spin-off podcast here called Sumo School Dropouts that'll be coming out soon. And so we thought, let's do Battle School Dropouts on Hinomaru Sumo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan for today. We'll tell you more about the other podcast a little later, but be excited.
The best part is now we'll have 2 projects that people can think we were referencing beauty school dropouts. Because that is a by orders of magnitude more successful podcast than this one.
Yeah, we've completely fucked ourselves on the SEO.
And Battle School Dropouts, that sounds like an actual, oh, that's funny. Beauty school, battle, shonen anime battle school shit are very different in a way that like it makes it kind of an ironic contrast. But like sumo, it's just like, does sumo school exist? It does, but a lot of people don't know that, you know? I'm like 80% certain that is true. Like I'm pretty sure I've read about like sumo wrestlers who went to sumo school.
Sumo school is a thing. You have to do a year of sumo school, or 2 years if you're a foreigner.
That makes sense.
Learned about it in Sumopedia.
You got to do your sumo general ed, and then
then you pick. Are you going to major in pushing and shoving? Are you going to be a grappler? What are you going to do?
Pusher, thruster, the grabby ones. There's other types, but like they don't talk about them.
Are you going to be a national treasure? Are you going to be a demonic elementary school student?
Yeah. Are you going to be the crescent moon? Are you going to be the snakes or the demon
whirlwind technique? Learn all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that good stuff, Bakari, how are you doing?
Good. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
A while. I've been very excited to record.
Yeah, same. It's been really tough to get together because basically, like after we finished recording, I was going through a couple things, but like I got just super busy with work, and I have continued to be busy with work. And I work evenings, which doesn't work with anyone's schedule.
No, yeah, a lot of people aren't also free in the daytime.
Yeah, I work evenings and weekends.
Yeah.
Dope.
It's got to be nice, like, if you need to get to the bank or something like that.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
post office.
I can run errands all day.
Yeah. But otherwise, that doesn't sound very...
If I loved errands and hated my friends, I got the dream life right now.
You just got to reframe your mindset there. That's the problem.
Yeah, I got the wrong
Get on the grind set there.
Yeah.
I don't know how much like the grind set bro culture includes trips to the post office and other such 9-to-5 establishments.
I guess it would involve going to the post office if you were doing like drop shipping. Your grind set.
Actually, no. I think drop shipping, you don't really like interact with the product yourself, do you? Like I thought that it was. I think you just like a lot of drop shippers. They just get like some factory in China to like do it and then fulfill the orders directly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know about it. All I know is that it's been largely a scam.
Yeah. That's what a bag fumbler would say. He's not on the grind set.
I'm not on the grind set. That's why I have to work weekends and evenings. It's because I don't understand how drop shipping works. If I did, I'd be golden.
You're not making those the AI YouTube videos Have you heard about like that's the new drop shipping? I guess
we watched one last night.
Did you?
No, because you were over last night.
Oh right.
We watched I put it on as like a bit, but it was like smash or pass. Here's like 120 boys
that's
to look
totally,
at, you know, and it's
that's
like
totally AI, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just occurring,
and it was just like a bunch of like fictional characters like Jon Snow and all that jazz.
And the Stranger Things kids, fucking weird guys.
Weird. Yeah, we were not the target demo of that.
No,
video,
definitely not.
but
Still, like even like Teen Wolf, Euphoria, I get it. Like they're supposed to be sexy. The Archie one, whatever that's called, Riverdale. I get it. Like they are teenagers canonically, but like the people are like mid-20s or older. The Stranger Things kids are still kids. Even kids. I know Millie Bobby Brown just got married. She's like 20 or something. Still a kid. That is still a kid. You can't tell me otherwise. Even when you're talking to kids, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. But that was an AI video is all I was
Yeah, for sure. But there's like grind set type shit on that. Like Curtis Connor just put out a video on it. Like the people who are like selling courses on how to like make faceless YouTube channels.
But that's the thing. When there's a course, you're too late.
Yeah.
Because then the money is gone from the thing, and the only way to make money now is to make courses about a thing that's dead.
Yeah. It's like the thing they say about the gold rush, like, you know, there's the ones who make their money digging for gold and the ones who make their money selling the shovels, you know?
Yeah.
Like at that point it's like, no, everything, all the depths have been plumbed there. You just have to try and fleece the next generation of suckers who are going to try and capitalize on it because it's too late.
Yeah, because it sounds like a great way to make money. I had an idea that's been kicking around in my head. I don't think I'm going to do it, so this is why I'm going to share it. But reaction videos, I still like get recommended on, and like the ones where it's like, okay, it's a trailer, and somebody's like, "Whoa, that's crazy!
Yeah,
I can't believe," like just garbage content. I had an idea where I was going to, just record myself one time, just sitting there going, "Whoa, that's crazy," and then just put it over every new thing that comes out.
You've been beaten to that? And
no!
Do you want to know who did it?
Who did it?
Jason Derulo, the singer.
He just...
what you say?
Yeah,
the remix, not Imogen Heap, but yeah.
And the man from Cats.
And the Rum Tum Tugger himself.
Himself.
People figured that out. He just like has a handful of recordings of himself, like not even really saying anything, just him like he'll be sitting like... And he'll just do that. And they'll just put that over like several videos in a row. Like him just reacting to other people's shit.
See, me and Jason, we think alike.
That's
you
right.
know? That's why
right.
we both love cats.
That can't have been good for his singing career. Like he was in Cats and now makes like slop reaction content. I can't imagine those. That's a coincidence.
Yeah, you did not move up from Cats.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Every other actor in that movie did.
I think every other actor had enough momentum to kind of keep them going as like the gravity of Cats pulled them down.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody got out of it.
No, definitely not. Like I don't Victoria, the main cat, who was that?
God, who knows?
Who was the one who sang Memories? That was actually that was actually an important actress.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift hasn't been in many more movies, I don't think.
Yeah, but I think T Swift has been doing okay.
She's been doing all right.
Yeah. I don't think Taylor Swift could have been slowed down by Cats.
I heard she sold out a concert recently, so you know.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, she's selling out. She sold out an arena. You know.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's real up and comer. That Taylor Swift.
I hope nothing but the best for her. You know, like now that she's getting started in music.
Yeah.
You know, good for her.
Yeah, real successful debut for Taylor Swift. Idris Elba shot way up because then he got to be Knuckles, which is the better furry character. You know, like he found his niche in acting. I'm glad he's done playing those stinky humans. Now he gets to be an echidna.
I always love the thing in Cats where everybody is like cat colored, but like Idris Elba is the color of his skin color.
Yeah.
It's like like he's not just like a black cat. Like he is the same color of black that he is.
Yeah.
You know, like
Jason Derulo's cat was also that color, wasn't he?
I can't remember it as well.
I want to say just like the not black cats, but cats being played by black humans. Are just their color. But then like Victoria is not white person white. She is like white as in like a white cat white.
Yeah. Or like Taylor Swift, I think is like kind of like an orangish.
Yeah.
You know?
So is Judi Dench's cat.
Yeah.
I hate her in that movie. I've seen her in other movies that I like, and I like her in it. But when she looks at the camera and sings at you as though you are a part of this now.
Oh,
I get
that's
offended.
my favorite part of the whole fucking movie.
I get so mad.
Where the whole movie grinds to a halt and she just stares at you. The first time any character has looked into the camera and she looks into the camera for like no joke 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
it's singing at you about remembering that a cat is not a dog.
Yeah. And then you think it ends and then she starts up again. It's like it's incredible.
I hate that part so much. I can't stand it.
It is a nightmare through and through. It is. There's also a part where like she raises her leg like a cat would.
Yeah.
But there's just something so off-putting about Judi Dench doing it.
She does
like,
that.
It's already wrong. It feels weird. Humans doing these things.
She does that as like a sign of approval for. Was it Ian McKellen's performance?
So. Yeah.
Which is also wild. How did they get him in there? And like, no disrespect to Sir Ian McKellen. Like, was he perfectly lucid through? Because that was the mumbliest performance I've ever heard.
I don't think anyone was. From what I've gathered about that movie, it seems like no one was ever like really in the same room necessarily either.
That makes sense.
A lot of these actors would come in for a moment, do their song or whatever, and then leave. Like that's why the person who plays Victoria, no clue who she is, because any actor that like had other stuff going on, like they weren't gonna stick around to shoot the entirety of Cats.
This makes so much sense. That never occurred to me, actually.
You get James Corden, who's like popular and has a late night show. He can't stick around for an entire movie thing.
Yeah.
But he can do one song and some other green screen shit.
This makes so much sense. Wasn't Victoria, as I understand, I don't think was a character in the play.
I think she was a very minor character.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they up her importance so that she can be like our view into the world of Cats.
Yeah.
To help try and make more sense. Mission incomplete.
Mission completely incomplete. Yeah. No, completely fucked. Well, because that's the thing with the play is that it's more of a like it's everybody goes from thing to thing. So all of the characters are involved throughout the entire thing.
Really?
Yeah. So like Rum Tum Tugger shows up and then he's just in the play going forward.
Yeah.
He doesn't disappear like after his song.
Interesting. So. He continues to tug his rum tum throughout the rest of the.
He tugs that rum tum all the way through.
Perfect. I guess we got to see the play at some point.
I love part of us coming back here to do this podcast was like, let's have talking points so we can stay on point. And we've talked about Cats.
10 minutes of Cats.
Not even on the fucking docket. We talk about musicals a lot on this podcast. Specifically, we talk about this and Cinderella a lot on this podcast.
Yeah. Listen, I think we had a brief stint with the Greatest Showman on a recent episode.
Yeah.
Which we still have to get together and watch sometime.
Absolutely. I love that we don't talk about there's lots of great musicals.
Oh,
out
sure.
there.
I don't know them
apparently.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's an actually like a musical that I consider to be like just truly genuinely good that I like and would rewatch.
Yeah, I mean
Phantom of the Opera, I guess.
I grew up with Singing in the Rain.
Oh, sure.
So
it's a good one.
I like that one.
Yeah. Sound of Music, that's a good one.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're not watching that shit.
No. Yeah. I'll watch Sound of Music again in the next couple of years, I'm sure. I like that movie quite a bit.
Yeah. I want to see, there's a Jimmy Buffett stage musical.
Oh, the Escape from Margaritaville?
Escape from Margaritaville. I don't think that's what it's called. I think that's just what we call it.
Oh, really?
Because it's like,
Because they have to escape, right? There's like
it's something like
there's like a storm or something that happens, and they have to get out somehow.
I feel like we started calling it that because it sounded like Escape from New York.
Oh, See, I was thinking like Escape from the City, like Sonic Adventure 2, but that.
Of fucking course you were.
Yeah, of course I did. But no, like even the
Escape from Margaritaville, my favorite Jimmy Buffett song.
Yeah, because like the original song of like Margaritaville, like kind of makes it sound like a place you want to get out of eventually. It's like wasting it away again in Margaritaville. Or, nobody's fault. It's it's got to get out of there eventually. It's a place you like to visit, but you don't want to stay.
You don't want to stay.
You know.
And some people say that there's a woman to blame.
That's right. and then you can mash it up with the what was that, CSI or Law and Order, one of those theme songs.
Oh no.
Yeah, it fits perfectly
no.
actually. Like
Dang.
Yeah, the theme songs.
To derail us further, did you know that you can get married at a Margaritaville?
That makes sense. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think about all the time, because like Bernadette and I have been together for over 5 years at this point. You know, we're taking things very seriously.
Yeah.
But my brain doesn't really think about like, hey, what should we really do for our wedding? Like, where would we go? What would we do? My brain thinks about is like, man, she'd really hate if we got married at a Margaritaville. And it's like, oh man, we'd have this and that and all that jazz.
I think my parents got married at like not a Margaritaville, but like a circus or something like that.
Circus
or something. It was in Vegas, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom has offhandedly mentioned like, oh yeah, we got married at like a circus or like a rodeo or some shit, like somewhere like you don't really expect people to get married, you know?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
it's funny because I think like when I think about our parents' generation, I feel like it's a lot of people who are like, I don't want to say like conservative, but like they have like family values,
yeah,
and they feel like all that stuff. But then like when you learn about like, well, where'd you get married? We just like went to the courthouse and just kind of handled it that way, and then we ran over to this place, and then we just kind of slumped around for a couple of years. I'm like, where did all this other stuff come from after that?
Yeah, I guess it's just I mean, they say like you get more conservative as you get older. I haven't really found that.
Yeah, I've been going the other direction hard.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I've definitely like we're both. Maybe that's our future calling is to be people who marry people at Margaritaville, because we're both ordained ministers, right? We can do it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
We're both licensed officiants.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But no, I helped a couple like do the whole like, oh yeah, let's just sign the thing, like get it over with,
Dude, we could do the real nightmare wedding for our partners.
Ooh.
And like not even have like, so like I'll marry you two, you marry Bernadette and I.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And we do it at the same time.
Yes.
So it's like it's all this like crisscross. You don't know who you're supposed to talk to at the right time.
Like
it's
Uno
like
reverse card.
confusing.
Do you take her to be your lawfully wedded wife? You've activated my trap card. Mirror Force.
Family has no clue where to sit. They don't know who anybody is.
Perfect. So the most rancid vibes wedding possible.
Yes,
that's what I'm looking
and it's
for.
all inside a Margaritaville.
Yes.
And not even like a resort part where like it would be nice, like in the restaurant proper.
Yeah.
Like right next to like the margarita hurricane maker thing,
The Applebee's was full up, we had to do what we could. I love that idea. I would love to talk to a couple who got married at Margaritaville. Just pick their brain. How's that marriage going?
Honestly, like I'm talking shit here, but like I'm sure it's totally fine. Oh, sure. And especially like if you're a Buffett fan, which can't blame you there.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm far from a Buffett scholar, but like the Jimmy Buffett songs I've heard, I've liked quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. We I work at a theater, and we had a band, like basically like a cover band come through, and they cover different artists, and they like tour across the country, and they're like, yeah, we're doing Buffett later next year. I'm like, when are you guys coming through? Like,
sick,
what?
Yeah.
We're just doing it in like the southeast or whatever. I'm
yeah.
Like, fuck you. I want Buffett, man. Now that he's like, I didn't get a chance to see him live.
Yeah.
All right, let me see the next best thing.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta chase that. I was at a Home Depot getting some stuff, and like the is the song just called Margaritaville, or is it Wasting Away in Margaritaville? What's it?
Ooh, I don't know. I've always just assumed it's Margaritaville.
That's what I always think of it as. Yeah. But like then, sometimes I would have thought that the song Roses by Outkast was called like, I don't know, Caroline or maybe Boo Boo or something, but then it's Roses because they do say that word.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I was in a Home Depot and that song came on, and like
Roses or Margaritaville?
Margaritaville, not Roses. Yeah, and like that was a very zen experience. just picking through hardware and listening to that song, and it's like I'm surrounded by other tubby bald dudes on their day off, and we're just like, this is the place to be. Like I'm with my people right now.
Yeah, I'm
not a dad. I'm not any like we have very little in common, but right here, right now, we are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. That it's just one of those like guys being dudes moments.
Yeah,
everything's in alignment. And that's something you only get from Margaritaville.
That's right.
Jimmy Buffett. You know? Like
bring in men together.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like I can't imagine listening to Jimmy Buffett and being like full of rage. You know?
No, not
like,
that kind of music.
Like if somebody was on the verge of like a breakdown.
Yeah.
And like they were like, I'm gonna, kill everybody in this room or whatever.
Yeah.
You put that song on, I can't imagine it happening.
They're just, you know what? I'm just mad. I've been having some shitty times recently.
Yeah. Like everything
start working through their problems a little bit
from there.
Yeah.
You know?
Cats straight into Jimmy Buffett. We are so fucking back. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. Yeah. No, I'm excited to be recording again. So what we've also been doing when we've been like planning, like, okay, when we come back, what do we want to do?
Yeah.
What do we want to change? All that jazz. Since we kind of took a minute here. And so we've been having like weekly meetings, and I love our weekly meetings because we will talk about, okay, let's do this. Let's record this day. Does this day work? Hey, do you want to do this thing? Here's how this thing's looking, yada, yada. All the important stuff. And then we'll be like, all right, well, that was good. You don't play Deadlock?
It's time to play fucking Deadlock.
Yeah. So we'll have a meeting for like 45 minutes tops, and then we'll play Deadlock for like 3 hours.
That's about right.
But when are we going to record, man?
Yeah, so eventually, yeah. I was going to say, like, we haven't recorded in quite some time, but I feel like I've been, digitally or otherwise, I've been seeing a lot more of you recently just by virtue of how fucking desperately hooked we are on that stupid fucking game.
Yeah, I want to talk about, like, so anybody who doesn't know, Deadlock is like a third-person MOBA type game. Think like Dota 2 or League of Legends or something like that. But it's a third-person shooter.
Yeah.
That's the gist of it. We don't need to go super in-depth on the details. How has it been affecting your life?
It's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Like a lot of days. I have to like actively talk myself out of playing it sometimes. Like, because I'm like, oh, okay, I got an hour free or something like that. That is time for a game of Deadlock. And then I'm like, I'm going to lose that game of Deadlock and be pissed off for the rest of the night.
Oh, dude.
I could just go play like Sonic Generations. Sonic X Shadow Generations is out. I've been playing Metaphor ReFantasio. There's like other games I could just pick up and have a great time for an hour. And most of the time I win that argument with myself. And most of the time I don't play it when I could.
Yeah.
But then also, it is a struggle each and every time.
I know. I had work. I think this was on like Monday or something. Like I had work, and I woke up like kind of early, so I was like, I got a few hours before work. Let me play some Deadlock, and I played 2 matches, and I got dumpstered both matches. Like I went like 0-5, and everybody else on my team was like 0-13, and just awful stats, right? Both games.
Yeah.
And I was pissed for the rest of the fucking until I had a break in work where I had like 4 hours until I needed to go back.
Yeah.
And I played another fucking match of Deadlock, and I won. And lo and behold,
the
rest of the work day after that, I felt great. I was like, no game should have this level of like drug-like control over me.
Definitely not. It's like there's something to do with like, so for the uninitiated in a MOBA, as you get kills, both NPCs and player characters, as you kill them, you get money, which you can then spend on items, which make your character stronger. And there is a very real like connection to your own ego, like how strong your character is. So like when you get really far ahead, you've got a lot of kills, you can like hit someone with a couple abilities and they just pop and they're just dead. And you're like, I'm the fucking man, dude.
Yeah.
I just shitted on that real life human and he's pissed off right now. And he has to wait 40 seconds to come back and try to kill me, and I'll do it again. And he just feels so great. But then when the inverse happens to you, you feel you're the one pissed off waiting 40 seconds to have it happen to you again.
Oh, dude. Because it's so punishing. Especially like once you get like 10, because every time you die, the amount of time till you come back is like increasing.
Yeah.
And like later in the game, when you just get caught out and killed by like a bunch of bullshit and your character can't move and all this shit, and you're mad that you died, and then you have to sit for 62 seconds and just watch your team fumble the bag. It's like, oh
yeah,
God, it's brutal, man.
It's tough. And like a lot of people, nobody really has a lot of experience with like this particular format of game. I think Smite was a little similar. only so much. So like there's really not very many people with like both MOBA and third person shooter experience necessary to like be good at this game. There's not very many people. So like your average team is not going to know what the fuck to do.
Totally.
And like it makes sense. Like you probably, like, I'm not saying you as in you, but like, you know, people in general just don't know what to do. I'm probably making the wrong decision half the time, more than half the time.
Yeah, you said not you, but you're correct. Me.
Yeah, like us. Yeah, everyone. You know.
Yeah, there's so many times where it's like I'm farming when I need to be fighting with the team, and I'm fighting with the team when I need to be farming.
Yeah,
and it's like because the game is so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been telling people, I'm playing Deadlock, and they're like, oh, would you recommend it? I'm like, kind of no,
not really,
because like it took me probably 20 hours to get to a point where I would get killed and I'd be like, oh, that's because they have this thing.
I got hit with this ability, which did this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I should have taken this other thing. Like where you start realizing that it is your fault that you're getting killed or whatever, or like that you had bad luck. But like the 20 hours before that, it just feels like everyone is the best at this game and you suck.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
I have a group of friends who they play a lot of Valorant, and like there's like 5 or 6 of them, so like they almost always have a full party, and like I don't really play Valorant, so like I want to hang with my buds, but I'm like, they're doing their thing. I can't really get involved, you know. But I saw, you know, we're all in the Discord together, and they were like, you know, one of them was like, hey, let's try Deadlock. This seems like a lot of fun. And I was like in there instantly. I was just like, hey, let me in there. Like I'll be your spirit guide. Let's do this.
Yeah.
They had I'm pretty sure they had a miserable time. Like maybe it would have been worse without me. Maybe it would have been better because like I'm pretty sure I raised the MMR of the match like by a decent amount, just as someone who'd played the game before. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the whole time I could just tell they're being frustrated. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what hit me? What's doing this? What are these items? Where am I supposed to go? You know, it's tough.
Well, and you really get caught out with stuff because there's not only like different avenues that people can attack you, like different alleyways, because like the whole map is like a city, and so there's like alleyways that you can move through and stuff like that. But there's also like just the level of verticality to it. Like you can be hanging out and then it's like, oh, there was somebody on the roof and they're sniping the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And
you don't know how to get
I run?
there.
What's happening? And then you're dead.
Yeah. There's so much stuff where like there is an answer to your question. Like we could get you there, but it's gonna take a while. And right this moment, you are getting shot at. So
we're talking about a game that we're basically just complaining about.
Yeah.
Why? I have about 50, 60 hours in it, which are true playtime. I know you've accidentally left yours on a few times.
I have AFK'd in that game so goddamn much. I forget to close it because like sometimes I'll be like, I know I'm 3 or 4 games in, but like I'm gonna do this little thing and I'll be right back to it. And then like it's the next day and I'm like, fuck, I've left it on the whole time. So I have like 250 hours in Steam. Like it's probably closer to 100. Well, no, because no, it's more than that because I looked at my profile in the game and it said I have like approaching 200 games.
Okay.
So like if every game was 40 minutes. 40 times 200.
Let's make it easy. Every game is half an hour. That's that would be 100 hours.
Yeah, okay. So close to 100 hours. Yeah.
To 100. Probably more because most games go over half an hour.
Yeah. So that's around how much I've got.
Why do we like this game?
It's like,
why do we keep fucking playing this?
I think like for one, like speaking personally, I'm really attracted to like games or anything where like there's just a depth to it, you know, like it's the kind of game where you can spend, you know, the next 1,000 hours at it and still like have a lot more to learn, you know? And then it's based in the Quake engine. So like the movement is so sophisticated and the guns feel so good. And when you're winning and even when you're losing, like just like zipping around the arena and stuff like that, it feels really good to play. I think.
When you're not just getting totally owned.
Yeah.
The game does feel really good.
Totally.
Yeah. It's like the guns feel great. The fact that they're not hit scan, it does take some getting used to.
Totally.
Like you're firing bullets, but they're not instantly hitting your target.
You have to lead your shots a little bit.
Lead your shots a little bit.
Yeah.
And that fucks with me so bad because I come from like hero shooters like Overwatch.
Yeah.
And like if somebody's shooting bullets, that means that gun is hit scan, essentially. Meaning that it hits its target the moment that you fire your weapon.
Exactly. But unless you're like Lucio or somebody, then like, you know, you're good. You know?
Yeah. Whereas like, you know, something like the the plasma gun from Doom or whatever that shoots those little orbs.
Yeah.
Like, those take time to travel, and you have to. And so that's how my brain is.
Totally.
Bullet, instant, laser orb, slow.
If the person is in your contact, in your reticle. I was trying to say retina. I'm like, that's not right.
If they're in your eyeball.
If they are in your crosshairs, when you click the button, you hit them.
Yeah, with a hit scan.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're not that fucks with my brain so hard.
Yeah. It's one of the, like, I have such a hard, there's an item in the game, high velocity mag, that like makes your bullets travel faster, and I cannot for the life of me figure out if it's ever worth it. It's like,
yeah.
Well, then I just have to get used to a different, it doesn't make them hit scan all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, you know how you got used to this? Fuck you.
Yeah. I was talking with a guy last night who had played a little bit of Deadlock, not a big MOBA guy, and he was like, I was like, what do you think of it? He's like, I like it, but like, man, there's so many items, and the icons don't really like help me out at all.
No.
And he's like, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just clicking on the things in the builds or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's not a bad way of doing it. And I started talking to him about one of the items. He's like, I had no clue that they had, like, there's one item, like, I think that it's the one that like, it's one of the early ones you can get. It's similar to the faster bullets essentially, and it's like hollow point ward or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and it's like it gives you bullet resist, and it gives you this, and it gives you these other stats. And as long as your health is above 60%, you do extra damage. And it's like that's one of the most basic items you can get, and it's got like 5 lines of text on it.
Yeah,
it's bonkers.
It's so much, and like so many items are like that.
Yeah,
because you're like people. Oh, I'm going to build Cold Front, which gives me spirit resist. I'm like, how was I supposed to fucking know that? You expect me to just read in the middle of this? I have like 2 seconds to buy this item and get back out there. It's so much.
And you'll be on YouTube watching videos about like, okay, what do I pick? What do I play with this character? And they'll be like, so I take this item and then I take this item and between those I have like this spirit resist and I have this other thing. So I'm like, slow down.
Yeah.
Tell me what one of these things is or why you're picking it. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
It really is like there's tiers to like, you know, when you or I talk to someone who's like just starting out at Deadlock, I'm sure it's the same way. Like I remember I was talking to one of those friends about they were learning how to dash jump. We were just like fucking around in the sandbox before we started playing. And I was like, yeah, if you buy a kinetic dash, then it makes it cost 1 stamina instead of 2. And he's like, what do you mean buy kinetic dash? I'm like, you know, like there's an item called kinetic dash. And he's like, there's items? Like, and I have to realize that, that's where we're at right now. This guy comes from Valorant where you just like, you get the gun and you shoot them. Like, not to say that Valorant is an easy game by any means. It's just like, it's a very different game that we're playing.
You don't have like 300 items to kind of sort through and figure out what's going to help you in this moment.
Like a lot of games, you're like pistol, AK, or whatever the carbine, whatever the fuck. I don't really play those games. Like there's a couple decisions that you have to make. Do I get armor? Do I not get armor? There you go.
Yeah. It's definitely. I remember because I don't come from like a MOBA background or anything. And I remember opening the item shop, seeing how many items there were, and I was like, oh, this is like a MOBA-ass MOBA. Yeah. I thought this was going to be a shooter with MOBA elements. This is a MOBA that just has a different perspective than the other games.
See, there's an element of, like, I get the complaint with the item shop, like how it's just sort of icon, but like, coming from, I spent most of my early 20s playing League of Legends, just kind of what I did. And coming from that, like, it's kind of nice to just be like, extra regen. What does this do? It gives you extra health regen, as opposed to like, you have to buy Sterix Gauge into the Black Cleaver, and then if you're ahead, you can get the Duskblade of Drakthar,
Oh, dude, I totally appreciate that it could be way worse.
Yeah.
Like, I at least like the one that gives you, like, longer bullet damage, or like basically make things that increase your gun damage often have guns or like a sight in it.
Exactly.
Or something like it's there. It's just like they'll also just have weird abilities.
Yeah, that's a thing to get used to for sure. But like, if it says long range and you're playing a sniper character, you're probably good to pick it up.
And see, and this is the most fucked up part about this game, and why I think this is secretly going to be terrible for me whenever they add like an item shop or something like that.
Sure.
We're talking about the game right now, and I would say, at least for me, like 70% of this has been like complaining about the game.
Yeah.
In the back of my head, I'm like, I got some time later. I'm going to be able to play Deadlock.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
No, it is like, it is really, really fun.
It's fun.
It's such a difficult thing to sell people on because like it's such a time commitment and like an energy commitment to just like understand the basics of the game. Because like League of Legends, you would probably play against several bots before you even got into a human match.
Yeah.
And I keep offering, like, when I try to get someone into it, I'm like, maybe we should play against bots a couple times, you know? Get used to how the game works. And they're like, nah, just put me in there.
Throw
and
me
it
in,
never
coach.
works.
Yeah. I one of the first games because I played Deadlock on my own when I first started playing, and I rage quit like the second game. And I haven't rage quit a game in ages. So that was, it is funny. Like it's a free game, essentially. Like there's no buy-in. And like, we got friends who love video games. Mm-hmm. We got friends who even like challenging video games. Yeah. Right. But like I think about our like Ian and Tyler, our friends. I would love to play that game with them.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine them liking it.
No.
You know? And it's like, but it's free, so you could try it, but it'd probably be a miserable couple hours, I think.
I was talking to Tyler about it yesterday, and like there was a point where I could tell he was like, yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. And then like I mentioned some detail or another, and he was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
Not doing
that.
Hey,
fair play.
Fair.
Know, that's fine.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when somebody like pushes back at all about playing, I'm like, yeah, that's totally fair. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want you to have a terrible time trying to learn this
like,
game.
This is a game that you could have a tough time in, basically guaranteed. Even if you like the game, you could hate it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I think we both kind of walk that line constantly with it.
And it's so funny because like Dark Tide just got an update, and I've been playing that a bunch, and I love it.
Yeah.
But when I sit down on my computer and my brain's like, which live service game do you want to play? Well, I should play. I should get a game in of Deadlock.
Yeah, just
maybe one
game.
more. That last one went really well. Let me play another one. You know, maybe I'm on a hot streak.
It's tough. I mean, they're like, I'm sure they've done all sorts of research on like how to hack your like dopamine relay with these like online competitive games, but god damn it, like it is so compelling.
Yeah.
I want to be really good at that game.
God, same. God.
Fuck.
It is funny. Like I think we have been saying it as a joke. I mean to say, but there's some kind of funny truth to it where like when we win a game or like we get a really good streak, we will yell. I don't know where this came from, but we just started saying like, I'm really good at video games. It's like, I'm good at video games. It's like obviously a joke, but it's like also, but like, I do feel like I'm really good at video games.
Totally.
Like I just dumpstered some guy. I'm good at video games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I made him feel like he's really bad at video games.
Yeah. When you take somebody out and they disconnect.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Making someone rage quit. It's one of the most satisfying feelings in the world.
Oh my, yeah! You just killed them. Like they got back to the lane. You've killed them for like the third or fourth time, like instantly.
Yeah.
They leave. Now you're not only gonna win this match probably, but like it's because you made someone mad.
Yeah.
What a powerful feeling.
There's that episode of Blue Lock when Isagi and the boys, they win their first game like in the Blue Lock thing, and he's kind of standing over his defeated opponent, and like this kid is like slowly realizing that his future in soccer is over. Like he will never compete at a high level, and he is devastated. He is in tears, and Isagi is standing over him like, I feel amazing. And like you get a little sliver of that. Like he's watching this dude like have all these realizations. He's like, why do I feel so good right now? And I'm just like, you watch someone you get like a lucky kill on someone and they disconnect, you shit on someone in lane or whatever. Like some of the most fun I've maybe had in recent memory is playing Wraith, getting the item that makes you turn invisible, and then like just picking one character and being like, you don't get to have fun. You find a Vindicta, you find a Grey Talon, any squishy character, and it's like at every 45 seconds, I'm going to turn invisible, track you down, ult you, shoot you in the head 4 times, and you are dead. And there is not a fucking thing you can do about it.
I think you're talking about like Haze, who can turn invisible there.
Wraith, you can buy an item that turns you invisible. Okay. It's called, I keep wanting to call it Ethereal Shift, but that's a different item.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But there's same thing, same character, Wraith. She can throw cards that track onto targets, and basically all you have to do is keep your cursor over them, and it'll basically follow onto them. And the feeling of them running away, but you've got the perfect line that you can see them, and you just watch the card follow them for ages, and then eventually get them, and then they die, and then you see the disconnect. I'm like, this is. I'm never gonna forget about this. I'm gonna have to talk about it on the podcast.
That guy's pissed.
That guy's pissed. I reached through the internet, and I filled someone else with a powerful emotion.
Yeah. It just feels so good.
What a game. What a game. Valve, you've done it again.
Yeah.
Who needs Half-Life 3?
Honestly, yeah. You could never put out. I mean, I like Half-Life 2, but I was never like a, Half-Life 3 has to happen. But like now Valve can do no wrong by me. As long as they keep the characters that I like good and make the characters that I dislike less good.
Oh, yeah. Nerf all the guys I don't like, please. Yeah. Valve, and we know you're listening. How could you not be? You've been waiting. You've been messaging us, waiting for us to return for this episode.
That's right. Get on it, Gabe.
Let's start shifting towards let's start talking about the anime that we're going to talk about on this anime podcast in a little bit here. But we should briefly talk about there's a Sonic Generations remake.
There sure is.
And that's the one that we sort of speed ran.
Yeah. We did some individual levels, some ILs.
It really makes me feel old that game that I picked up on sale because not that much later than when it came out, I feel like is now has a remake, and it's like, oh, that game the only one that I really took seriously about speedrunning, it's now got a remake. How old am I?
Yeah, well, because we got into that 2017, 2016.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
When did that come out?
2011. So it was a few years old by then.
Oh god. Okay.
Yeah, that originally. I thought it was
like a 2015 game.
No.
Okay.
No,
which I guess would still be. God damn.
That came out on the PS3 and the 360. Yeah, it is 2024. It's almost
not to date when we're recording this.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Sonic X Shadow Generations.
X Shadow. Is it? Have you been playing it?
Oh yeah.
Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's great. I finished. So
did you speedrun Green Hill Zone?
I did. So there's some slight changes to the physics, at least in modern Sonic, because I spent more time on. Naturally, I've spent the most time on the shadow part of it, but with Green Hill Modern, there's some changes to the physics a little bit. The rail glitch is actually much easier to hit, but the the super long rail where like the big fish chases after you and stuff.
Yeah.
It's way more difficult to line up the jump to do it. So it's like they made this part like brain dead easy. The timing is so forgiving, but like just getting yourself to the point where you dodge the boost pad and then jump onto it, super difficult. But like, I think I actually did end up beating my best time from original Generations. And like, I need to check and see like, is the game just faster now, or like did I just get sick at this game without realizing?
I just fucking dope. I've been playing so much Deadlock and doing all the cool movement stuff there. It basically translates directly into Sonic.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe that's why we're loving the game so much, because it's pretty much just Sonic.
Yeah.
Because boy, you gotta go fast.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters with guns, which is a thing that Shadow likes.
That's right.
Or at least used to like.
Yeah, he doesn't
He doesn't gun anymore.
No, he doesn't even like they spend so much time referencing Shadow the Hedgehog, but in the Shadow part of it, of Generations. But he doesn't talk about guns. They don't reference the fact that he had a gun. Like that specific part of the game is completely gone.
So Shadow, your silence on the Second Amendment is speaking volumes.
Yeah, honestly.
Now.
Silence is deafening.
Yeah.
We need a statement right away.
Yeah. Shadow, how do you feel? Hopefully that's what we'll get in Sonic, the third movie.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah. So come on, let's get some Second Amendment stuff going.
He's gotta shoot a gun and he's gotta say fuck.
That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah. Like we need the Jason Griffith fuck edit. Like,
yeah.
I just need to hear Shadow the Hedgehog say, "Where's that fucking fourth Chaos Emerald?" Just once for me.
That's all we're asking for. It's not much.
I don't think it's that much.
It's great too. I don't know if it's in the game yet or if it's coming in the DLC, but Keanu Reeves is going to voice Shadow for something in Shadow or in this generation.
Oh, sick.
I think it's in the DLC that's coming.
Okay.
But so Keanu Reeves is going to be in another video game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It really is the autumn of Keanu. Just
I'm
so
here for
excited.
it.
Yeah.
I watched John Wick 4 the other day, and then I played a bunch of Cyberpunk,
Hell
and
yeah.
now there's, he's going to be Shadow. I'm like, this is my guy.
There's a whole lot of Keanu to enjoy right now. I've been
Yeah.
meaning to rewatch the John Wick movies. Just start from the beginning and go through it.
Man, I rewatched 4, and while it wasn't the same as seeing it in theaters, I think it might be one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. Like, I totally get when people say it's too long, but for me, it's like, I can't have too much of a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like too much good stuff. Like sorry.
Oh, sorry. That part where like he gets a shotgun that throws fire at people was too sick for you. Like,
Yeah. I hate it when the action is too cool and there's too much of it.
Yeah,
That's a real problem for me.
And that it keeps like escalating and getting cooler. God,
Yeah.
what a tough time.
I hate it when he has so many cool showdowns with Donnie Yen. Like that sucks.
That totally sucks. When he had to fight like 100 dudes up the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, what a totally bummer.
Gosh. I've been I'm still on YouTube Shorts. I've grown an appreciation for YouTube in that, and I've probably said this before, in that its algorithm like sucks. Both YouTube Music and YouTube itself and their shorts and everything, like they're so bad at, because like, all these social media companies like Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and all that, like they've spent so much money on trying to figure out how to hack your brain, like how to keep you distracted for as long as possible. And I have the stupid iPad baby brain that is like very susceptible to that. Like they spent the money trying to figure out how to make me stupid, and it's working. YouTube sucks at it. So like when Instagram would get me scrolling reels for several minutes or whatever, like TikTok didn't really work because I don't know, I didn't get into it enough for the algorithm to figure me out. But like YouTube is bad enough at it that like it just kind of at this point has figured out he will watch clips of Dragon Ball Z and he will watch clips from John Wick movies. Just show him that. Like every other YouTube reel or short I get is just a clip from Dragon Ball Z, and then a quarter of them are just like clips from John Wick and stuff. And I'm loving it.
And it's funny when too you'll watch like a Dragon Ball Z clip, or like in my case, like I'll watch something about Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, that was a cool thing. I sure would like to see something else. And then all of a sudden it's like only 40K. 40K.
Yeah.
Like, it's a dude painting. It's a dude talking about lore. It's a dude talking about battle. It's a dude talking about points. It's like, oh, come on, food.
Something. Yeah.
Another clip from Suits, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I do every once in a while just get like some just random, like a Charlie bit my finger kind of thing. It's just like some kid like just won my middle school basketball game. And that's it. Like, that's the whole thing. It's got like 40 views and 2 likes. And I'm like, this is weird. Don't show me this.
Yeah. There's
like, congrats, I guess. But like, go away.
Well, yeah. What? Yeah. The big one I get is people opening Magic the Gathering packs. Sure. There's one guy whose videos I'll watch that is him opening packs and like talking about whether he makes money or not.
Yeah.
Everybody else is boring as shit. I don't care. And I still get those videos all the time. And all of that, like, it's like, I imagine in their brain, they're like, this is a genius idea. I'm going to buy a booster box. That's going to have like, I don't know, 32 booster packs in it or whatever. And then I'm going to open one for each video and I'm going to talk about them. And so I'll scroll through their video and it's like, all right, here's 28 out of 32. And I'm like, and all of your effort has gotten you 4 likes. Okay. Well, on to the next one later, buddy.
Yeah. That's the thing is like if someone is obviously like trying to like we're not a big production by any means, but we're clearly trying to get someone to watch us. You know what I mean? Like that, if I see a middle schooler celebrating his basketball win, I'm like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I think that was probably for his I don't know, like he doesn't use Facebook probably, but whatever social media site he's on.
Yeah.
His Club Penguin or whatever. His Toontown account.
Toontown's gonna love this shit.
Yeah, this is about to bang on Toontown.
My boys on RuneScape.
Yeah, it feels like I'm peeping in on something I shouldn't be. Like that this was not made for my eyes.
Yeah.
But I don't want to dislike it. Like I want to tell the algorithm like don't show me these things, but I don't want to dislike it because like what did this guy do? I know there's like a don't recommend channel button, but like I feel like that does something.
It is still permanently funny that YouTube got rid of the dislike, like showing it on the video, but it will absolutely show you on the back end.
I figured that was the case. Like, how many people dislike this video?
Yeah, it's like it's so funny because it's like, it'll show you basically. It's like it won't give you the direct number, but it'll be like you have 4 likes on a video, 75% are positive. It's like, oh, cool, all right, and then these other ones, 50%. This feels great.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. And like the whole argument was like, it's for creators' mental health. They'll have to, it's like, it's for advertising.
Now,
Shut up,
let's
nerd.
be fucking real.
This wasn't for YouTube.
For their mental health, we'll just tell you, instead of showing the world, we'll whisper it in your ear, like, this many people think you suck. And that's the thing is, like, I wanted to hit the dislike button just like, I don't like this. In a genuine, real way. I don't like it, and I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, like this 13-year-old posted a Roblox video for them and their friends or whatever, and I'm a 33-year-old man going, fuck this, dude. Like, that feels terrible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's so fucking. It's funny. It's, I think it was like iPatch Wolf posted, like he had a video about like what it's like to make like YouTube videos. And
I saw that. Yeah,
and it's like one of his really good points is like, why does it show the views?
Yeah,
like in theory, like, okay, yeah, maybe more views means like the information is more credible or whatever.
Yeah.
But like for entertainment purposes and all that, like you don't need to know how many views a thing has. And on the back end, you don't really need to know how many views something has if you're just making it for fun.
Yeah.
So why does it show you? And it's like,
a dopamine thing for real. Like,
yeah, totally. It's
like
to get you to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get self-conscious about stuff. Like if I post something, about my music or whatever on Twitter, and like I see like 200 views, 3 likes, I probably delete it. Like I'm just like, the ratio's off. People aren't fucking with this.
Yeah,
just get rid of it.
Something's worked. Yeah,
yeah,
I know. Yeah, there's a couple like things that I've posted on this channel that I'm still like, all right, yeah, like I'm not happy with this, and like it's clear. I don't know. Maybe I'll delete it, but yeah. I try to like not think about it. It's like, yes, I'd love to grow our fan base and all that jazz.
Of course,
but at the end of the day, we're doing this because we have fun doing it.
Exactly. Exactly.
We are an hour into recording, I'm pretty sure, and we haven't even started talking about the anime that we're about to talk to in our anime podcast.
That's right.
So anyways, that was a brief tangent about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic X Shadow Generations, very fun. I really like the Shadow story. Got me choked up a little bit at the end of it. It was like actually, it's very nice. Yeah,
that's because I know Generations was kind of received as like a, hey, this is a nice return to Sonic stuff.
Kind of, yeah. Like Generations to me really felt like when they like perfected the boost engine, because like before that you had like Sonic Colors, which like the movement in it would be fun if the level design weren't so shitty, and also the power-ups are so confusing. And then you have like there's like Secret Rings, and there's the Black Knight, and there's Unleashed, which I like Unleashed, but like has many problems.
But then this is also off the back of like 5 years before that, you have Sonic 06 and all that. Like, you have some just rough Sonic games.
It was a time of much jank. Even, like, the stuff I like is, like, real janky.
Yeah.
And Generations really felt like, this is a cohesive thing with, like, they had an idea and they executed on it fairly well.
Yep. And it's, like, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable, and it's got some variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, the story's kind of stupid. Like, it's kind of nonsensical. There's not a whole lot to really gain from paying attention to it.
But sometimes that's for the best, because
sure.
if you really want to have like an in-depth story, apparently Sonic 06 is what they can put together for you. And it's memorable.
It sure is. I'm like, aside from the human character, I feel like there's a lot to enjoy about the Sonic 06 story, but the human character does take up a good amount of space.
Yeah, well, and there's all this weird time travel stuff, and Silver is weird.
Yeah.
He's
just Future Trunks, from Dragon Ball.
100. I mean, Sonic is just furry Dragon Ball Z a lot of the times.
Absolutely.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Not at all.
There's plenty of room for more Dragon Ball Z in the world.
I've been rewatching, or actually just watching. Like, I've never actually like sat down and gone through it. I'm watching like OG Dragon Ball, like just from Dragon Ball episode 1, like Goku meets Bulma, from there. It's very good. That show holds up stupendously aside from like all the weird sex stuff.
Yeah. that's kind of been on my list for forever because when you talk about like when I tell people I've never seen Dragon Ball or like I've seen episodes but I've never seen the show all the way through, people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like you gotta watch it. Like it's just one of those good animes.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like I watched the compilation movie or movies that kind of like, retold the story in like a very broad, like Cliff Notes kind of way. And then I had seen episodes like that I rented on VHS back in the day or whatever. But yeah, this is like my first time going through it. Huge fan. It's great. Not a whole lot of, it's not all that actiony. It's like funny enough. Like they're like it's martial arts themed, but the actual fighting is like kind of few and far between where I'm at.
Yeah,
I'm sure they pick that up later.
There's some tournaments and things later in the show, and I think that helps kind of transition it into Z, which is like just fighting or training for fighting.
Yeah. Z like because I'm at the point like Master Roshi is a character but where I'm at he and Goku have met a couple of times and he goes like, hey, how would you like, or Master Roshi goes like, how would you like to come train with me? And Goku's like, well, we're doing this thing trying to find Dragon Balls. But after that, and he's like, cool, yeah, just let me know. So like, I assume pretty soon, because they have 6 out of 7 Dragon Balls at this point, like 12 episodes in. So I assume like, oh yeah, the training part's going to happen pretty soon. And he's going to get the orange gi and he's going to meet Krillin and all that other stuff.
Right.
But right now, that's not where I'm at.
That's funny. Yeah. Because it's interesting too, because when you watch early Dragon Ball Z, he talks a lot about the techniques that he's using.
Yeah.
That are like I think it's like Kaioken or whatever.
Oh
like,
yeah.
That are not the iconic Dragon Ball Z moves.
Yeah.
But they're ones from like Dragon Ball.
Oh, no. Kaioken is, that's one that he learns after, like between Raditz and Vegeta. Kaioken, Kai, and then O means king. So king, it's King Kai's fist. That's what it literally means.
I'm thinking of a different one that like boosts his power or something.
That's what Kaioken does. But
I thought he got that from Roshi. My bad.
The Kamehameha, that's from Roshi.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have flipped those in my head.
Oh, you would think so,
yeah,
right?
Like where did he learn the massive energy beam from? Well, probably the guy who's like one of a kind and watches over the entire planet.
Yeah. That's all. He also learns the spirit bomb, I think, from King Kai. But yeah, the Kamehameha they show, like it's Master Roshi does it to put out a giant wildfire that's like that's burning up the Ox King's castle, like Chi-Chi's dad. Mm-hmm. And then he does put out the fire, but he also destroys the castle. And they're like, he's like, well, you asked me to put out the fire. I did that. And they're like, okay, fair. And then Goku's like, well, how'd you do that? And he's like, you got to train for 50 years before you're ready to do that. And then like Goku points at the car and like does it, and like it's small, but like he still pulls one off his very first try, and that's what gets Master Roshi to be like, oh, okay, I guess I got to train this kid now.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, but like that's kind of like the recurring theme throughout the whole Dragon Ball thing is like Goku kind of learning from different people and stuff.
It's funny because that's how what's his ass? Goten is in Dragon Ball Z. Like,
oh yeah,
like getting to that part of the story, like with the tournament leading up, it's like, wow, why is this kid so good at everything? Oh, Goku's just good at everything as well.
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, that's fine.
Exactly, he gets to learn from people who learned from people, and it's like this, continuous passing on of knowledge and stuff,
and skill and fighting, and
exactly
also just being Saiyan really helps.
Yeah, that also really helps. Yeah, I probably talked about this on the podcast before. Like in Super, they kind of remember that other characters exist. Like Master Roshi does some stuff, and Android 17 does some stuff, and like other characters who got their asses kicked before are like capable of maybe not going toe to toe with Goku, but like doing something.
Yeah.
And like I've seen a lot of pushback against that, people being like, but they're not as strong as Goku and they shouldn't be, they can't go Super Saiyan. And it's like, I don't know, man, do you think the whole point of this show, of the everything of Dragon Ball, is just Goku's the best because he's a super special boy?
Yeah.
It's not his Saiyan blood that makes him Goku. If it was, then fucking Nappa and Raditz and all the other and Turlock and all the other fucking B-list Saiyans would be on god levels, but they're not. It's because he's fucking Goku. It's because he's the platonic ideal of like the true martial artist.
Yeah. Yeah, again, you said it on the podcast too. Like, there's a whole part where like Vegeta has a fucking breakdown because he's like, "I'm supposed to be the best. Why are you better? I'm full-blooded Saiyan.
Yeah,
you're like only half or whatever.
Yeah,
or like no, I'm the Prince of Saiyan.
He's the Prince of Saiyan.
You're just some fucking whatever boy, and I should be better than you, and I'm not.
Yeah,
and he ends up getting all possessed and fucked up and weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And it's like, well, but yeah, okay. So like nobody else can improve. Nobody else can work hard and get stronger.
Nobody else.
That's the fucking idea behind Dragon Ball.
Right. Nobody else can work hard. And also, do you only want to see Goku fight? Like, you don't want to see anybody else use any different skills?
Yeah.
You only want this one guy? Boring. Ooh.
Yeah. Goku beat Frieza already, and Frieza's power level was lower than his, which means he has no opportunity to do anything other than what he did in the Frieza saga.
Which is so insanely stupid because characters come back more powerful all the fucking time.
Nonstop. It's like it's the main fucking theme of the show.
Right. Piccolo gets crazy more powerful as the show goes on. And it's not just because he merges with Kai, though there are things like that help or whatever. But it's like, no, the dude also trains like crazy.
Yeah.
The fucking hyperbolic time chamber exists.
Yeah.
You can train. So dumb.
Yeah.
So fucking dumb.
Yeah, Dragon Ball is tight. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. I don't know if we've said we did. Okay, yeah. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. It's been that long already. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
We have been doing this for 4 years.
Well, I would say like since Toriyama passed.
Oh yeah. I don't think it was that long ago, but
no, it was earlier this year. But like,
it was back when I used Twitter. That's
thing.
Yeah. I haven't used that in a while.
Because I was thinking like it's been a few months since we last recorded, and like. We've said it on the podcast already, which like really drove home like how long it's been since Toriyama passed. Yeah. Dragon Ball's cool. The more I think about it, the cooler it gets. Which is, I didn't think I would say that. Like I thought I would, kind of go into this being like, well, this is some silly fun, but like I loved it as a kid, but like no, Dragon Ball's still tight.
No, and that's kind of my thing that I've come to realize too, because I there's shows that sometimes people are like, oh, this is a classic. You got to see it. And then you're like, watching it's kind of like homework, where it's like, I get why this is popular and I get why this is beloved. Not my thing. But it seems like Dragon Ball kind of eludes that.
There's some there's some Gundam that really speaks to me, and some Gundam that definitely feels like homework. I've been trying so hard to get through Zeta Gundam, and that really feels like homework to me, which is weird because like hearing about it, I thought that would be like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's, nothing to do with the quality of it. It doesn't speak to the part of my brain that like gets me hooked on stuff,
Yes, that makes you go, I gotta watch more of this. I can't wait to see what happens next week.
I appreciate it a lot more than I like it.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of shows like that. Yeah, where it's like, this show led to this show that led to this other thing that you like, and it's like, that's cool.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch all that other stuff. It's kind of like for me with video games, it's like Pac Man. Mm-hmm. Pac Man is an important part of video game history.
Yeah,
I do not want to play Pac Man. Don't ask me to play Pac Man.
I'm happy to play Pac Man like once in a while. The same with Tetris. Like, any of those classics.
I hate it, but if you told me, Stu, you're cursed, you're never gonna play Pac Man again, my life changes in no meaningful way.
Yeah. If anything, I'd be more upset if they told me I couldn't play Pac Man 2 anymore. The one where he walks around and you just shoot at him with a slingshot. Pac-Man like 1, I played that a lot as a kid, and I was like, this is cool. Like, this is real distilled pure video games. And Pac-Man 2 comes along and he's like flying around on the hang glider and the ghosts are being stupid, and you're like, you have to shoot him with the slingshot or like get him attacked by a crow so you can make him mad so you'll step on the rake to do all this stupid. And I'm like, that shit fucking rules. This is my shit right here. I love that game.
About this. I've never heard of this weird thing.
You never heard or seen or played Pac-Man 2?
I know what we're looking up after this.
This might have to be a stream at some point.
Oh, goodness.
That's a game you can beat in a sitting or two, and it is a hoot. Because you don't control Pac-Man. Like, it is
right. You're trying to like upset him?
You are not sometimes. Because he's just like, so Miss Pac-Man says like, we need milk for Pac Baby. Go get some formula or whatever. And so he's got to get to the store. He's got to buy the milk. He's got to bring it home to his doting partner and baby. And like, for instance, if sometimes Pac-Man he'll find a treat on the ground or something and he gets really stoked on it and he's like I'm the fucking shit, dude. Look at this. I got my fucking treat. I'm stoked. And he starts like swaggering. He's like, hell yeah. And then, but because he's swaggering, because he's so full of himself, he'll like miss an important detail. Like he won't notice that like, I don't know, that there's a rake on the ground or something. And then he steps on it and it whacks him in the face. And that causes a chain reaction to cause him to like enter a fail state. It doesn't die, but it, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you make him sad, then he starts moping and he walks on the ground, like looking at the ground like this. And then he sees the rake and he goes, walks around it and keeps going. So like managing and manipulating his emotional state is an important part of getting through that game. Because if he's like too hyped or too pissed or too something like that, then he will get himself into stupid situations.
It's kind of like it's almost like a dating sim or something where you need to control somebody else's like emotions through choice making.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, a little bit.
It's like, but like so much more intense.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. And it gets like wackier and wackier from there. I think by the second level, you're like hang gliding off a mountain and stuff and doing all sorts of wacky shit.
As one does when you try to get baby formula.
As one does, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the motivation for that. It all starts with like Pac Man has to do something very, very simple and then immediately devolves into like some wacky hijinks. And the ghosts are there. You can turn into Super Pac Man and eat them. There's a screen, I think when you beat a level, the ghosts report back to the Rita Repulsa-esque witch who like they answer to, I guess.
Man, Pac-Man lore is wild.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's like a witch who's like sending them after Pac-Man. I guess that's the lore. Okay. And she's like, "You have failed me for the last time." And then like this freaky screen happens, like her face. The rest of her disappears and it's just her face, and that is really scary to the ghosts. Like they're freaking out, like something really terrible is about to happen to them, and that like kept me up at night as a little kid because I played this when I was like 7 or 8. Like I was super young. I have a Japanese copy of it, but I can't play it because I don't have a Famicom, Super Famicom or whatever. I don't even have a Super Nintendo. So I just have a copy of it.
You just can't do anything.
Yeah, my younger brother was living in Japan at the time, and he was like, "Hey, I found a copy of that Pac-Man game you like. You want it?" And I was like, "Yes."
Like, no, I'm scared still.
Because like retro games are still like very they didn't do the weird scumfuck investor thing that they did here. You can still just get most retro games for $20-$30.
Oh yeah, that
if
weird
not less.
Like, has to be money laundering thing where it's like, yeah, it's a copy of Super Mario 64 and it sold for like $3,000.
Yeah,
whatever. It's like, no.
There's a copy of Pokemon Ruby on Craigslist like yesterday that was like $300.
That's bonkers.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Some
Chrono Trigger $1,200.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's just bug fucking like collector hustle bros, like people thinking like, oh yeah, these are investments, these aren't games, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that, where it's like all these things that are, or like the one that I find really upsetting is like Pokemon.
Yeah,
where like this is a game geared towards children. Yes, adults can totally play it.
Yeah,
but like this is one meant for kids. Like, and the fact that like store shelves will just be sold out. You know, because all these guys are coming in and like buying all this stuff and then reselling it back to like parents and kids. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, same shit happened with like the PS5. You know, like it was so scarce, partially because people were buying like as many as they could possibly get their paws on, and then selling them for like $1,500 each.
Yeah, I'm more mean with like Pokemon specifically. Like, I think it's messed up that for anybody to scalp stuff like that. I think that's super messed up.
Yeah,
but with a kids thing, like, come on, this is just for like kids to enjoy. Like, calm down. Like the fact that Pokemon has become like this weird investment thing is like, I hate this.
Yeah,
I don't like this. This shouldn't. It has no intrinsic value. Like, I can print them at home.
Yeah,
like, you know, like this, I don't know.
It's
let kids have fun with it. I don't know.
Let kids and me have fun. I like
Pokemon let me also have fun with it.
Yeah.
Let me get some.
But I'm not trying to get in the way of the kids having fun with it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I would take all of them from the children if I could, so I could have fun with it.
It's just like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
So you know I'm dark and twisted.
No, Shadow does actually say that.
Oh, shit. I knew I loved him. I can't wait for Keanu Reeves to say it.
I think the implication is supposed to be he is fine with the fact that the thing he's trying to do is so easy, but like the context of the sentence makes it sound like I'm fine with taking candy from babies.
Yeah, well, he's messed up.
He is.
He's pretty damaged. He's pretty twisted.
He's a black-hearted evil in that game.
Yeah,
he's a real savage. You know. Or you can be a good guy. You can if there's a morality system.
Yeah, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, 326 individual routes. Yeah.
I gotta play that game.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I have it on I want to say PS2.
All right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Get that.
Why are we playing Deadlock?
Yeah, yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah, we fucked up.
Different shooter to play. We should really get to the anime part of this.
Let's talk anime here.
Yeah.
God, man, we are so good at derailing.
I know.
Is it clear that we haven't recorded in a while?
There's so much to catch up on. Even though you and I talk like pretty frequently, like
I know.
We haven't talked into microphones for a minute.
I know, and still we can find nonsense to ramble about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we watched Hinomaru Sumo.
Yep.
We are getting into it.
Yep.
So we watched the first 6 episodes, and the reason we did this is because, like we said at the top, we are going to be doing a podcast where we're going to talk about sumo wrestling.
Yeah, like real life Grand Sumo, like top division type stuff.
Yeah, and the whole idea is like we're going to be doing 3 episodes across the 2-week tournament. We're going to do one before it starts, talk about our prediction. We're going to do one halfway through, kind of check in on what we think of the tournament. Then we're going to do one after and just kind of review the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is a slam dunk idea for this podcast. It's going to be so fun because we just talk about sumo all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's somewhere to channel that, you know.
And so we're like, slam dunk idea. This will be so fun. Sumo School Dropouts. Oh, I know. We were trying to figure out what to watch.
Yeah.
Let's watch this sumo wrestling anime.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the first few episodes, and I remember it's been a couple years, but I remember it being really good.
And we both heard like pretty positive. I don't think I've heard very much negative about it.
Yeah. So we're like, slam dunk. We're going to talk about our sumo wrestling podcast, and we're going to watch a sumo wrestling anime. Like the
perfect way to kick this
The
off.
fucking branding tie-ins are so fucking good. Incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I guess, not to leave people in suspense here, but just general thoughts. What did you think of Hinomaru Sumo?
More like mid Hinomaru Sumo.
Ooh.
I've seen worse, but I've seen so much better.
More like Hinomaru Suno.
Ooh, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Oi, 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 oi.
It's one thing if I had picked this anime up years ago before I knew anything about sumo, and like I was telling you about an annoying coworker I used to have who really liked this anime. He was trying to get me to watch it constantly, probably because I didn't want to talk to him very much, and he wanted things to talk to me about. I have this effect on like every once in a while, just like some dude is like, "This is my new best friend," and I'm like, "No, we're not," and then they just.
Anime nerds can kind of struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah. The thing is,
learn that you like anime or Sonic, and then it's like you're done for.
That's true, yeah. And like I'm down to chat about stuff, but like, you know, if you get too weird about it, you know. Anyway,
100%.
What was I gonna say? This guy was also kind of I don't want to be like, this fucking nerd, dude. I'm not friends with nerds. Like, this guy also sucked in many other ways that I just don't need to get into.
That's me personally, who's not friends with nerds.
Stu's not friends with nerds.
I will not be friends with nerds.
He is the, what's that girl from Mean Girls? The mean one.
I'm the mean one.
He's the mean one.
I'm the one that'll bully you.
Regina George?
Yeah. Not Jones.
No, yeah.
That one.
Yeah, he's the Regina Jones of
the Regina
of
Jones
the high school that is
girl.
life. What was I saying? Yeah, if I had watched it back then at his recommendation, I probably would have been like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's fine. You know, now that I know a thing or two about sumo, and also kind of had higher hopes for it because I've heard so much good stuff about it. What the fuck, man?
Well, yeah, and it's really, I feel like I got Mandela affected or something, because I remember watching it like when it came out and being like, hey, this is pretty good. And it was like after I'd stopped being so snobby about anime and stuff, and I was really into like shonen battle stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, this just seems like some great shonen battle anime. Like there's going to be training, there's all this sumo and stuff. And again, I only watched the first couple episodes, but I was like, oh, I love the setup with the characters, the rivals to friends, all this stuff that's happening. And I'm watching it today, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It kind of had the same effect of like when you're like, oh, I found this really funny YouTube video, and you go to show it to somebody, and they're just like, you know, not reacting. They're not enjoying it. You can tell, but like you've already got it up on the phone.
Yeah,
there's still like more time.
It would make things so much more uncomfortable if you were to be like, never mind, you're not having fun.
Yeah, but I did it to myself. Yeah. It's like I'm showing me the video, and I'm mad at past me for recommending it.
Yeah. just what that happens. Like it's so easy to kind of forget the minute details in that moment.
I'm hit with like a high level of whiplash because let's talk about the animation and the look of this show. This show does not look good.
I think you were a lot harder on the looks of it than I did. I think the art direction is fine, and like them standing around talking, it's not great, but it's like it's anime, you know.
It is. The problem I have with it is that it's just at the line of like serviceable, right? Like there were a couple parts that were like obviously like that's messed up. Like there was a guy who was in a headlock and it was clear that his neck had become like 2 feet long.
Some real off model shots for sure.
And there was some of that stuff, but it wasn't really common. I just think in general the characters looked strange. They had different proportions from shot to shot.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, it's like, okay, the parts where they're just talking look weird.
Yeah.
Like the parts where they're still, and it's like a still shot and the camera's just kind of moving over it, those also look weird.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, but maybe they're saving their money for the fights.
Yeah.
And the fights look weird too.
It's such a wildly varying quality too. Like there's a couple of parts where like it straight up looks it looks like a goof, like a parody or something like that. Like there's one shot of like it's two sumo wrestlers going at it, kind of from the perspective of the like Street Fighter 2 intro, where it's like kind of you see over one guy's shoulder and then you see the face of the other guy, and the guy who we see the face of goes like bah, 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 with his like he slaps, and the other guy like stock still just kind of, it's like they took his animation cell and just turned it to make him fall over. He just goes like. There's some shit like that where I'm like, what come on, guys.
Yeah, or like characters are just punching each other at certain points too, which you can't do in sumo.
You can't do that.
You can't punch people.
Yeah.
it is bizarre, and particularly because pushing and like multiple like hand strikes, right? Like E-Honda's whole thing is a part of sumo,
totally.
Right? Where you're just throwing your hands at these guys. They never made that look good. It was always the guy's throwing his hands out, and there was never like a stylized thing over it. And there was always just the other guy's animation cell was like moving backward.
Yeah.
And he was being like you ever saw his like body react or seem like it was getting hit or anything like that? It just always looked like, oh man, they were rushing this one.
There's very little like impact or weight to anything that they're doing, which sucks because that's like so much of the fun of watching two giants like go at each other like that is like seeing just like the weight and like behind what's going on, Yeah. And then like it looks like paper puppets or something like that. It's weird. I don't even think the show is bad so much as I think they just left so much on the table.
Totally.
Like so much squandered potential for the only sumo anime that exists that I know of anyway.
Yeah, there were a lot of moments where we were just kind of like riffing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, oh, that could have been kind of fun or exciting. Like one of the ones that I brought up is that like there's this smaller character who he's like a little guy. Not the main character is also a little guy.
Yeah.
But this other guy is like a little guy.
He's like he's like a teensy bit. I think he might be a tiny bit taller than Ushio, like the main character.
Yeah.
But he's like half the width. He's very scrawny, no muscle at all.
Yeah, just absolute baby man.
He's like a band geek or something.
Totally, right? And okay, his character shows up and he's like, hey, I want to join the sumo club. After seeing you fight, I want to join the sumo club.
Totally.
We don't really get any perspective on like what his deal is, and like why he wants to do this and all this jazz. But like, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it have been kind of interesting if the bully who ends up joining the sumo club, he was like, if the band geek kid was bullied by that guy, and now the two of them kind of have a dynamic where like he's used to bullying them, but like maybe the little guy gets good at wrestling, and now, and he has to, and they learn to like respect each other and become friends.
They find this common ground.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, that would have been kind of simple and like kind of fun, and there's just not that. I'm like, and it's that constantly where you're just realizing like, oh, these characters really easily could have had a really interesting like conflict or dynamic. And it's just not there.
Well, they even kind of like that dynamic could have existed even with Ozeki, the sumo nerd, like the guy who originally started the club, because he was bullied by the karate guy.
He totally good point.
Yeah, so it's like, but then like first episode, Ushio beats the hell out of the karate guy. Karate guy's like, wow, sumo's really cool, actually. I thought it was just two naked fat dudes hugging, but it's actually, I need to learn sumo if I'm going to be stronger. That's it. After that, he's just one of the gang, and like him and his new teammate, the guy he bullied, it's never brought up. They never like have a moment where they find some newfound respect for each other. Like maybe Ozeki would go like, wow, you're an intellectual fighter. I never realized that. And the guy's like, wow, you're really tough, actually. Nothing like that. They're just like, we're in the same sumo club now.
I know.
Moving on.
Yeah. What?
And there is no motivation for the little guy, like absolutely none.
Yeah.
He just they're like, we're gonna be the best team in Japan, and he's like, yes, let's do it. Who cares? Like, we don't know why he cares. I guess he doesn't need a reason. Maybe he's just here for pals, and he's down to put in the time. But it's kind of weak.
And that I think is kind of the issue with the show. I think you brought up while we were watching is that the show isn't like over the top sports anime.
Yeah, not like Prince of Tennis or Kuroko's Basketball.
But it's also not like a really like grounded one where like either it's about the characters or it's about the sport itself.
Yeah.
Right? It's somewhere right in the middle where like to me it feels like it could have been about anything. And the fact that it doesn't focus that hard on sumo, like you could have made it karate, you could have made it this and put all of these characters in there, and there's nothing that feels like it's about sumo, and there's nothing about the characters that makes me care about the characters. So what are we doing here?
It feels like a show someone was like obligated to make. Like it feels like it was someone was like, hey, we need more young folks interested in sumo. Get them into sumo. And they're like, well, okay, we'll make an anime about sumo. But like the person who's making it or people who's making it, and like I never mean to like put words into the mouths of artists or anything like that.
We don't know anything about this production.
I don't know the name of a single person who worked on this, and I'm sure they're great. And like this is not my intent. But like at the same time, like I don't sense a passion for sumo from this. I don't
absolutely,
or even that much interest in telling a compelling story either about people or about sports.
Yeah.
You can sucker me into caring about any fucking sport. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Chihaya Furu did it. Hajime to Ippo did it back in the day. I'm sure when I get around to watching Haikyuu, that'll do it too. That badminton anime, that one was fun. I give a fuck about sumo. Like, we've only been watching it for a few months. But I really care about sumo.
So cool.
Yeah, like I was the Bonzuke dropped like the rankings for the next tournament. And I was like on there. We were like Felicia and I were like up late talking about it and stuff. Like we're so excited, and like I can't give a shit about this anime. I
know.
I just can't.
This hole was made for me.
Yeah,
and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, man. Like, and there's at first, I was complaining that they didn't have very much training stuff because I think that is a vital part of like if you want me to give a shit about someone's athletic achievements, you need to show the work that goes into it before the match. Episode 1, we introduce the characters. Episode 2, we get like the gangs together, and then episode 3, we're going and doing practice bouts at a rival school. At no like, and Shrimpy guy goes like, "I've been doing sumo for 1 week," and like, really? Because we just smash cut from one thing to the other. I don't know what kind of work you put in. Right. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah. The fact that there's no kind of training, and that the training could have been a moment to talk about the different techniques. And it's weird because in episode 4 or 5, the Shrimpy guy is shown some techniques that work against larger opponents.
Yeah.
Right? And like that should have happened earlier so that we could understand why. Like what sumo is about. Yeah. But instead, his fight is the fucking funniest one because all the other guys try and like have varying degrees of success. And the Shrimpy guy seems to just get like, they don't even like seem to like run into each other. The other guy just from the animation just seems to put his hands on his shoulder and then lower him to the ground. Like not even hard, just like
he swats him like a fly.
Just get on the ground.
And
buddy.
He's just face down like Yamcha in the crater, just not moving at all. That was pretty funny. Like maybe accidentally, but that was really funny.
Definitely accidentally, but yeah, that was
Yeah, like we're watching them do the thing, but like even as someone who knows a thing or two about like, what goes into a sumo match, like you gave me no reason to really care about it.
I know. Yeah, there's like the semblance of stakes, right? Where like, okay, I like that they're from like an underdog school, right? Nobody is like every time they say like, oh, we're from like Odachi High or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I thought I didn't even know they like had a sumo team. Like, that's great. There's also the fact that like the main character is too short to do sumo.
Yeah.
So the only way he'll be able to get into the pro leagues is to be the best high school sumo wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good
anything
stakes.
less than the best.
And he has zero career. And you only go through high school once. He only has one shot at it.
Yeah, I think those are great stakes.
Yeah,
but those are like overall stakes. Like I need stakes in like the immediate episode. Like when they go and they do these bouts, like there needs to be like well, if you lose to our school, then your school goes out of business.
Yeah.
Or like there needs like it. But it's not that over the top, so they don't have anything like that. They're just doing sumo because it's like, well, we both like sumo, so sure, I guess let's practice.
Yeah. I think, for now, like, as they're still getting into it, like, I don't necessarily need stakes so much as I need, like, motivation. Like, I want to see why these guys are putting in that kind of work.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think it's cool, like, Hajime no Ippo, like, the part of it that we covered in our episode on it. We go from Ippo doesn't know anything about boxing to Ippo joins the boxing gym to Ippo has his first sparring match. It goes terribly. He they decide to have a rematch in a few weeks or whatever. Ippo starts training. He learns to shadow box. He learns to throw an uppercut, and he learns why he would need to throw an uppercut, when he should do it, how to perfect his form, how to jab, how to do all this stuff. And we see him go through this transformation, as small as it is, from someone who knows jack shit about boxing to someone who knows the basics of boxing. He fights Miyata. He wins against Miyata, and by the end of it, it's like, wow, what a fucking journey we've been on in 7 episodes. This 6 episodes later, I still don't give a fuck.
Absolutely.
When Ippo cries after beating Miyata, like I get choked up thinking about it. This nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah, there's just there's this like the fact that the main character is kind of like a Prince of Tennis character, but that there's also these other guys hanging around kind of taking from the spotlight and all that. It's like if we were just focusing on him and he had a buddy who was following him around who was also learning sumo or something, like, okay, maybe there's something there. But there's too much going on. So you have this like band of characters, but there's no camaraderie between them. It's just like it's a bunch of tropes, but no understanding of why you use these tropes.
Yeah, totally. Like what I think if you go the Prince of Tennis route, because like, yeah, there's other people like learning tennis, but like they don't really go super deep into like the actual real world technique of what the Prince of Tennis is doing. But like when the Prince of Tennis switches hands from right to left, you're like, oh shit, he was sandbagging this whole time. He's way better than we thought he was.
Right.
Or when the guy does the snake shot or whatever, I'm like, that looked cool. That wouldn't exist in real life, but hey, action. Neat.
Yeah. And there's somebody to be like, oh, that technique is good because it messes with this thing that he's usually used to.
Yeah, it spins in such a way that it bounces at a weird angle. And we're like, cool, I understand what's going on. When he does the twisting demon, whatever the fuck.
Oh, my fucking God.
It's like, we watched someone do that at the last turn, and they didn't call it that. They just called it an underarm throw because that's what it was.
Well, and that's the fucking thing is like they have these like big animations for these like fucking throws that he does.
Yeah.
And I would say as many times as he uses that special technique to knock somebody out, he also fails.
Yeah.
And the animation for the failure is like, okay, he basically throws somebody around like a fucking windmill. And then the next shot is actually the guy caught himself with his foot. It's like, how? He just got like whipped around at light speed.
Yeah.
And it's like, so the cuts don't match. So like you have these awesome techniques, so to speak, or whatever, that have these badass crazy names, and then it's like, oh, but nothing comes of it.
Yeah. There's a couple of them where he does like, he'll go like, twisting demon, and the person just like is ready for it, and they don't get thrown. So he's just like, no, didn't work.
Okay.
All right.
That didn't work.
Like you just, well, damn it. Okay, well, keep going. It's not good action. It's just not good action.
It's not good action. And it's like, and it's a shame because like when you look at something like Hajime no Ippo, where like every like throw of a punch a lot of the times, like, okay, they're breaking down why it's important.
Yeah.
Sumo could absolutely have that.
Totally.
Because when I first started watching sumo, it was like, okay, it's just two dudes crashing into each other and then one of them gets knocked out or whatever, or falls over or whatever happens. And then when you really start to get into it and you learn like people's like techniques and styles and like, oh, he's got his right arm in under the other guy's arm and it's on the mawashi and he's ready and he's got a good grip. It's like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on. Right. Yeah. And like those things are really impactful. And like you could have had fights that were slowed down like that, where characters are talking about what's happening, and you could have had them look good because you don't need to animate these fucking windmill twists or loads of throws or whatever. You're just in slow motion. A character is noticing he's got his hand on the grip.
Yeah, yeah,
and they don't do that. Instead, they just make it nonsense. It's like, so it's not even good for sumo.
Yeah, yeah, and like, if you don't want to be educational about the sport, that's fine. Like, your average anime watcher doesn't need to know the proper technique for this, that, and the other thing. But, like, then make it exciting. Like, if you're not going to give me a reason to care about how it would work in real life, give me a reason to care why it works in the, like, how I'm supposed to care in the cartoon. Like, yeah, you slap the guy and he goes flying out of the ring through the wall, or like you fucking visualize it like, you know, a giant Street Fighter finishing move or something like that. Like, make it cool if you're not going to make it smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You pick a lane.
Yeah.
Like,
I think part of why the fights in Hajime no Ippo work so well is that like, there's a lot of like impact in the sound design and stuff like that. Like Ippo throws a punch and somebody blocks it and it sounds like a car crash, or like a, you know, he stops and like does a pivot and like there's the sound of like brakes screeching or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, he revs up his Dempsey roll and it sounds like a fucking jet taking off. It's cool as fuck.
And I'll say for anybody who's like, hey, he did his finishing technique and the other guy stopped it, and that's how real sumo is, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's about to get somebody and then they stop it.
No,
right?
yeah.
That's cool. That's realistic, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Okay, totally.
That happens all the time.
Boring. That's bad anime. That's like if you're not going to slow it down to make it realistic, and you're not going to speed it up to make it exciting, and you're just occasionally having elements of realism, bad. You can't whiplash between both.
Yeah.
You have to pick something that works, and this isn't it.
Yeah, like, I mean, of course, like, sometimes you try to throw someone and they don't get thrown. Like, they would be a shitty sumo wrestler if they got thrown all the time. Like, naturally.
Yeah.
But, like, that is just a part of the game. Like, that, you shouldn't be zooming in on that like that's the big finisher move, that, oh, he blocked my throw. Like, no shit, man.
Well, and that's also like,
I hit the tennis ball at him and he hit it back. Oh my god. No human alive could do that.
and that's the I just wanted to like counter any argument there of like, well, you know what happens in actual sumo. It's like they totally are not showing that well in this.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Yeah. The action direction is just so like confused, I feel like.
Yeah, they just don't there's so much that just is incoherent and weird. Let's also just talk about the fact that everyone in this show has like they look way too old.
The most middle-aged high schoolers I've ever seen, maybe.
Yeah. Like, and like, okay, some of the characters, they look a little bit older than like what they should be or whatever.
Sure.
That happens in teen shows all the time. Whatever.
Constantly.
But, like, there are like dudes with like hella facial hair. There are characters that you would like, if you were gonna draw that character at 30, you would draw them exactly how they look currently.
Yeah.
These guys are like 7 feet tall. They have the like all the features of a full-on adult, but it's like, oh yeah, that guy's 14. Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And like,
I've seen young sumo wrestlers. They look their age.
Oh yeah,
they are not.
They look
monsters.
like babies, dude.
Yeah, they are like you look up like Teruno Fuji, right? This monster of a man.
Yeah.
This the top rated sumo wrestler.
The current sitting Yokozuna as of the recording of this episode.
Huge guy. You look at him when he was like just starting. He looks like just a regular old guy.
He's got kind of a young face now, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like 32 years old. Fucking Hakuho, the like a Yokozuna before him, retired as of a few years ago. He's got a baby face.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan, a sumo guy, incredible accolades. Guy looks like young as hell.
Yeah. You look at all these guys and they're just like, yeah, They're just regular guys.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and it just makes the show look weird.
Yeah.
Why are all these adults fighting each other in high school?
I feel like because Hinomaru Sumo is 24 episodes, and I think that all came out contiguously when the show was new, and that was probably like what 2016, 2017, something like that, 2018 maybe. Somewhere in that zone.
No, it was when I had moved in here, so it was probably like 2019, 2018 maybe.
Yeah, 2018 maybe, because I know I was at my previous job, and I left there in I want to say 2019. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So yeah, 2018, 2019, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So it's a few years old now, and like as far as I know, it hasn't gotten any more anything. Or it has no plans to get any more, seasons or anything like that. So like the 24 episodes, I feel like there's something to be said for like when we watched Prince of Tennis, like we were very aware that like what we saw is not really even similar to where it's going to go. Like it's going to escalate over 100 something episodes.
Yeah.
This, I'm like, what we see is more or less what we're going to get in terms of like quality and like, design philosophy and stuff. I don't think it's going to get that much better at episode 13 or something.
It's funny too, because when I think about Prince of Tennis, I think about like, oh man, it's going some really interesting places.
Yeah.
And even like, and Blue Lock, right?
Oh yeah.
Blue Lock, like, oh man, like this whole tournament thing, and like that they're setting up is really exciting. I'm not that excited about the tournament that they've set up for Hinomaru Sumo.
Yeah, well, because we've seen a decent amount of sumo being done in it, and it's not that interesting.
It's not exciting. It's not interesting. I don't care about the characters. I don't care about the camaraderie between the characters.
It's also like power scaling wise, it's kind of in a weird place. We see Ushio, we only see him. The only time we've seen him lose is against their coach, essentially. He's like his old rival or whatever.
Right.
And then his other and then against an actual pro, like a Maegashira ranks 9, I think.
Yeah.
Like actual, top 40 sumo wrestlers in the world, like one of those guys. Otherwise, like we see people are talking about him because he did not win but did not lose against a guy who was considered really good a few years ago, but hasn't been able to train in sumo, or like hasn't been able to do a sumo bout since he was an elementary schooler.
Oh my God.
Everyone's talking about him because he held his own against a guy who hasn't fucking sumo wrestled in years.
The dumbest fucking part of this show maybe is, and it's amongst a lot of other dumb parts, is that there is this like high schooler who's like the real rival, right? You know, he's like this serious sumo wrestler who hasn't wrestled since they were they went against each other in elementary school, and like the guy like broke Hinomaru's arm.
Yeah, so like dislocated his shoulder or something.
Like something weird. And it's like, you can't sumo wrestle because you can't restrain yourself or whatever.
Which is an insane thing for a former Yokozuna to say.
Right. And so he's been training, but he hasn't been in the ring.
Yeah.
And like, and so he wrestles. He's not supposed to, but he does. And then he gets in the ring. They have their match, and like it's just stalemate by the time somebody's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do that."
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, so he's not supposed to wrestle. So this is going to be like a conflict, right? And immediately Dad's like, oh, okay, yeah, you can go.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so he doesn't even have to sneak around his dad, or he's like, I actually love. He's just like, Dad's like, oh, you like wrestling still? You like sumo still? Cool. All right, yeah, I take back everything that I set up earlier in the show.
Yeah, get back to it then, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. And then the fucking dumbest part was like, who do you think would win between the professional sumo guy that you just fought and that high schooler that you had a stalemate against? It's like, well, the other guy I had like a stalemate against, and the pro dumpstered me 5 times consecutively. I don't know who would win. It's like, you don't know who would win. The guy, you ran at him and he shoved you in the ground like a baby. Like, I know who would win.
I think it'd be pretty easy, actually.
Exactly who would win.
That almost feels like when I lose it, like I go 0-2 at a fighting game tournament, and I go like, yeah, well, the guy who beat me was really good, actually.
Yeah.
The pig. Like it kind of feels like, well, the guy that I draw with, yeah, he could probably beat that professional, no problem. Or he would probably go toe-to-toe with the professional, just like I did. I had a stalemate with this guy, and this other guy beat my ass super bad. But those two are about the same skill level, I think.
Yeah, totally. So it totally, and I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to set up like, Hinomaru's gonna have to fight him again later. Like it's gonna be this like, who knows? You couldn't beat the other guy now. But it's like you fucked up. You fucked up. You can't show Hinomaru getting his ass beat.
Yeah,
and
handily,
and like he comes close in the last match, but like handily beat up.
Yeah,
and like. You don't get multiple matches in sumo. It's not a best of 3. It's not a best of 5. It's a best of 1.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. He's lost several times already.
Dumb.
He has done a year's worth of losing in one afternoon.
Dude. Yeah. That guy beat your ass for a year.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Like a 6-0 head to head. Like that is a year of tournaments.
Dude. Yeah. When two guys go against each other and it's and you see like, oh yeah, in their previous tournament matchups, the other guy's won 6 times, and the other guy's won once.
Yeah.
It's like the guy who's won 6 times is probably gonna win.
Yeah, probably.
Like it almost always happens. Like the guy just has the other dude's number.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No,
I'm losing it. That last part of that episode was so fucking stupid.
It's been really bad at like hyping us up for like future matches. Oh, watch out, Anya.
Cameras, technical difficulties.
It's like cat interference. What's it? Yeah. It's obvious that it's trying to make us care about like, oh man, that rematch between Ushio and whatever the fuck, the guy with the really long hair whose dad was the Yokozuna. Like, they're trying to get us hyped up for that, but in the lamest way possible. Like, oh man, they're gonna meet in the Inter High and it's gonna be so intense. Oh shit, who's gonna win? But like, I don't know, probably Ushio because he's the main character, and who gives a fuck about what the other guy's gonna do?
Yeah, and the fact that there's not if there's the conflict with his dad and he's trying to prove him right or trying to prove him wrong, like I can be a sumo guy and I can be a Mr. Sumo and and like he has motivation to want to win.
Yeah.
Right? But the fact that his dad's just like, "Oh yeah, go for it."
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
like,
do that thing.
Who cares?
I get it feels
nobody
obligatory.
in this show cares about anything. What's his ass wants to be the Yokozuna, and another guy goes, "You said that really frivolously. I don't think you really believe it." And so it's like, so I don't even know if the main character cares.
Yeah.
Dumb. Bad show. Dumb.
Yeah. And also like, yeah, where we leave off is essentially Ushiro, like he gets invited to train at an actual sumo stable, like actual professional. They do this 24/7 sumo wrestlers. Because when you're a sumo wrestler, until you get to like the highest ranks, like you live in your sumo dojo. You like your whole day is dedicated to your routine. And he gets to go there and train with like actual, people who are doing that. And then like an actual Mayagashira like shows up and they have their thing like we were talking about. He says that shit like, I'm going to be Yokozuna just like you plan on being. And the guy's like, dude, I am in the trenches right now. Like I am working so hard all the time. You are a fucking student. You don't know. You are Little League right now. Don't fucking talk to me about being the grand champion. And then like they have one more match and the guy's like, stay the night. Yeah. We're gonna train more tomorrow. You're gonna be the like, and what he didn't do shit. Like he gets so much shit handed to him because he's 4'11" and wants to fucking play in the big leagues even though he's too short to like legally compete.
Yeah, he's good.
He gets treated like a Make-A-Wish kid. We were saying that all.
He gets treated like a Make-A-Wish kid. Yeah, he really kind of does. It's like, I don't know, and I don't want to say that he's like not good or whatever.
No, he's great. He's got Prince of Tennis syndrome. He can't lose unless it's like really plot significant.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of just a generic shonen protagonist.
A little
bit. The whole for me, the whole show can be really summarized as this: I don't need a super original plot. I don't need super original ideas in the show that I'm watching.
Yeah.
Right? One of my favorite shows, Jujutsu Kaisen, right?
Yeah.
That's just a ton of anime tropes, right?
Totally.
Like, I struggle to really name like a truly original thing that show is doing, right? I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. And I think it's incredible because it's a really good execution on those tropes, right? The 3 characters are just Naruto, Sasuke, and the pink hair girl. Sakura. And I don't watch Naruto. But I know it's those characters, right? I know it's the 3 trope, right?
Yeah.
I still love all those characters. Sure. Great execution. That's all I'm trying to say. This show is a prime example of anime tropes and bad execution.
Yeah.
Going the direct opposite direction where all those things are there and yet, or all these tropes are there and yet you are biffing it left and right.
Yeah, it feels like using those tropes without really understanding how to or like why they carry the weight that they do.
Yeah, or just you have them because you feel like you're supposed to have them and then you don't do anything with them. You know?
Like it's disjointed. It's like fan fiction or something, you know?
Yeah. It's like you buy a house because you know you're supposed to buy a house, but then you don't move into it, you don't do anything with it, you don't repair it, and then it falls apart, and you're like, "Why is this happening?" It's like, because you didn't do anything. Right.
It's like if Goku just went Super Saiyan and there was like nothing behind it. It's just like, well, I got to beat this bat. It's like, we are so close to Hinomaru like unlocking sumo level 2 or something stupid. Where it's like, you know, he's unlocked the wilderness mode inside of him. Wilderness mode when a sumo guy can. It's like, shut up. This is dumb. Yeah,
like that hasn't happened. It's probably not gonna happen, but it could, and it would be stupid, and it wouldn't be beyond the pale of this show, you know?
The one gesture that they make at that is when the coach guy has his match with Hinomaru and he shows him like, I've taken your technique and perfected it by adding a little leg sweep to it. I'm like, you learned that shit? I have taken 1 day of judo class in my life and I learned that technique. Yeah. That is not a difficult or like a groundbreaking thing. You're telling me this dude who lives and breathes sumo didn't know how to fucking do that already?
Oh my god, dude. And to make it even more, they dropped the fucking ball, right? Yeah. One of the guys in the sumo club is like, I want to be a great MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Another guy is like, I'm a like trained karate fighter.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have all these different people who could highlight different techniques that can be used in sumo.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I never thought about how effective leg sweeps could be. Thank you, guy who knows judo because of MMA.
Right.
Right?
All these guys have come to sumo to learn from it, to perfect their own craft. You would think Hinomaru would be learning from them as well.
Yeah, bringing other techniques,
but they're just scrubs.
Highlighting other techniques.
Yeah.
And instead, they're just there to show how cool Hinomaru is.
Yeah. That sucks. You're so right. Oh my god.
Like, the guy who shows the little dude how to do all the cool moves is another guy who knows sumo.
Yeah.
At no point are other techniques brought up in. The only time that sumo is compared to other techniques is in that, well, sumo is kind of an all or nothing sport. If you touch the ground, it's like other sports are to the death or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
But that's it. That's
weak.
It. And that's such a weak, dumb. It's
super weak.
Sumo's rules are different than other rules.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
sumo's
so
cool. It's cooler than all these other lame ass sports. You should watch sumo instead.
I didn't even think about the technique thing until now. I've like worked myself into a fit about that. That's so fucking.
I sincerely hope that ends up being the angle later, because like how do you not, right?
But that should have been episode 3.
Yeah.
That should have been, hey, let's get these characters to all like each other more, and let's do it by highlighting their different specialties.
Yeah.
Dumb. Bad show. Dumb.
I think it is. They dropped the ball by not introducing that already. I hope it does show up because we watched a quarter of the show today. I hope that shows up later. Yeah, I don't know. If you like Hinomaru Sumo and you think it gets better after what we've watched, let me know. I'd be down to watch more of it and then just spew some real fucking hatred about it in a future episode. If you're wrong,
I'm in a fit, but I'm having a good time talking about this.
Yeah,
it's kind of for me like talking about how it's doing in my opinion, all the tropes wrong. That's a really fast. I'm actually kind of excited that I have an example that I can point to now. Like I have Jujutsu Kaisen that I can say doing tropes right, and now I have my anti-Jujutsu Kaisen. I have my anti-Christ over here.
There's like, even just specifically within the world of sports anime, like I feel like it just completely misses why sports anime are appealing.
Yeah,
like Blue Lock, Kuroko's Basketball, Hajime no Ippo, Haikyuu, like all these different sports anime you can pull from. He's got nothing on any of them.
Nothing.
For any particular reason.
This show would not have gotten me into sumo.
No. Which is crazy because we're actively into sumo.
Actively into sumo, yeah.
I've gotten into watching, like, I've gotten so much more interested in, like, badminton and ping pong and basketball and boxing and all these different things just from watching people do it in anime. And it was nothing.
Nothing, dude. I guess the one praise I can give it is that I still like sumo wrestling.
Yeah, it didn't make us hate sumo.
Yeah, like I don't hate sumo now.
I can't imagine a show bad enough to make me dislike sumo.
Just to clarify though, it's not that technically that bad.
Technically,
the bar is there, and it passed that. It didn't make me hate sumo wrestling. It just made me hate the show.
Yeah. That's really funny. Okay, it's I gotta wrap this up. Let's
wrap it.
Yeah. What's your rating?
My rating, I worked myself up into a fit, and I'm really struggling between total garbage and
Yeah.
And I think I'm in I don't think this show is total garbage. Yeah. I don't think but it's on that line. This is not like a yeah, I could take it or leave it, right? Like this is like I'm one like additional point about why this show is bad from like that line. Like it's teetering.
Yeah.
You know? The rocks are falling over and the character's like, oh my God, you know?
Very dangerous territory for sure. Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would land on as well. Like there's the part of me that wants to call it total garbage is the part of me that likes sumo and sees a world in which this show fucking rocks. Like it's my new Hajime no Ippo and it gets me so stoked. There's just so much that it could have done that it didn't. And I think if I came into it just again, like if I watched it several years ago, I'd be like, yeah, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
It was a way to kill some time, you know? Neat.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to channel that version of me, like that alternate universe version of me where it's and yeah, it's fine. It doesn't do anything so heinous that I'm like, this absolutely sucks. All the problems that I have with it are for the most part that like it could have been so much better.
Totally. Yeah. And if somebody enjoyed watching it, like I'm not gonna have like a violent reaction to it like I would with some shows.
You're perfectly fine to do so.
Like I don't agree, but like if you're like, yeah, I think it's a 7 or 8, I'm like, I don't get that, but that's fine.
Different strokes, you know.
If somebody said like this is a 10 out of 10 anime, then I'll fight them.
That's like you gotta watch. You haven't seen other sports anime.
Oh,
if that's the
so
case.
you've never watched TV before? Okay.
Yeah,
this is your first.
You haven't
TV
watched
show.
sports anything before at that point. You've never seen Rocky. You've never seen fucking Remember the Titans. You've not seen anything.
Have you heard of sports?
Yeah.
Do you are aware of competition? Like, because every other competitive thing out there is kind of more entertaining.
A guy who's only seen Hinomaru Sumo. He's getting some real Hinomaru Sumo vibes for this one.
He's watching just like an NFL game.
Competition. They're struggling against each other to accomplish a goal.
Two men are touching violently.
Yeah.
Hinomaru Sumo.
Tackle is kind of like a Oshidashi. Interesting.
It's kind of like a dragon windmill Diablo uppercut or whatever the fuck
Crescent
he does.
Moon, 6 snakes, whatever the fuck, man. It's so dumb.
My favorite thing, you said, God, what was it? I said like he's great. He's using the grabbing his belt technique, and then
the 10 snakes Orochi throw or something.
They're just doing regular sumo moves.
Yeah, like if you're gonna stylize it, stylize it. But yeah, anyway, we've talked about it. Yeah.
So subscribe to this channel, whether you're on Podbean or YouTube. We are going to be doing obviously more Battle School Dropouts. We're also going to be putting Sumo School Dropouts on this same channel.
Yep.
Would love feedback about it. I know we don't have a ton of subscribers or whatever, but if you're like, hey, I'd kind of prefer it somewhere else, or whatever. After we get through the 3 episodes that we have coming up, love feedback if you're interested about that kind of stuff. We like to know what we're doing. We're on Instagram. I can't remember it, but it'll be in the description. We're on a couple other things. Like I said, we're on Podbean if you're listening to this on YouTube, and we're on YouTube if you're listening to this on Podbean.
That's right.
Anything else you want to plug or promote?
Listen to my music. The Bandcamp, or no, Octamammoth, no, 8mammoth.bandcamp.com. Gotta know. Go to my Twitter. Who gives a shit? There's links in the description.
Yeah, we powered through these plugs here.
Hell yeah.
It's also been a minute. You had that down for
I did. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we recorded, so I'll get it down again. Yeah, I gotta pee so bad.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for this month, week, whatever. We'll be coming back. We've got a few other episodes planned. We also, I'm hoping to do a special Detective Conan Christmas, so check that out. If you want to know more, subscribe, all that jazz.
Yeah.
And let's watch some fucking real sumo, dude. Holy
I'm so
shit.
excited for
Yeah,
this
dude.
tournament.
Let's not do this show again.
No.
Oh my God. Real sumo, please.
Absolutely. Watch Real Sumo. Real Sumo's sick. Go to the NHK World Japan YouTube channel in a couple of weeks, and they'll be posting recaps of the days of the tournament. It's fascinating. You'll like it.
It's a 15-day thing. Every episode is, you can watch the recap, and they're like 20-30 minutes, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
You speed right through, or you can watch the 4-hour thing if you're crazy. But like, really, like I watch the recaps, and that's how I get through sumo, and I love it. I'm hooked.
It's absolutely great.
NHK World. It's on Roku. You can watch it on their website. All that jazz. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
Watch Real Sumo.
And we'll talk more about that soon in Sumo School Dropouts.
School Dropouts.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Watch Real Sumo.